Progress report, 11 weeks in. This table shows my workout sessions the last 3 weeks. And I switch every 4 weeks. So these are the sessions I've been doing with my current workout routine. We're going to walk through them one by one. But before we get into it, you can see that for this last week, week 11, there were 2 workout sessions where 2 of my exercise machines were out of service, which annoyed me to no end. Once you get into a routine, you want to stick to it, right? So when I came there and they were out of service, I was like, oh. And of course I could have exchanged them for something else, but I didn't. I was just not in the mental space. And 4 good compound exercises out of 6, still a good workout. So I just went with that. Let's do a short review of each exercise and the progress within them. Starting with the farmer's walk. Here you can see there's not a lot happening. I do the same walk as I write it out. It's the longest stretch of walk I can do at my gym. And it says 3 walks, but really it's 6 because I walk one stretch to the other side of the gym, and then I pause, and then I walk that same stretch back. And 1 back and forth is what I call a walk. So I do that stretch. I've done it with 26 pounds. The first week 9 and week 10. And then by the end of week 10, I switched to the next weight up, which for me with the kettlebells at my gym was 35 pounds. So that's quite an increase, and that's per arm, mind you. So that's an addition of 18 pounds. It's quite a bit. When I switch, I allow myself to continue with the next set of weights for quite a while, and I'll probably do that for at least another couple of weeks. And I know that because I've been feeling it in my left wrists. I think my wrists are getting used to it. Apparently my right wrist is stronger because I've not been feeling anything in that at all. It's only been my left one. And yeah, so building strength in my wrist to be able to do these exercises is part of the journey. I'll keep an eye on it to make sure it doesn't go wrong somewhere because I really don't want to risk it. Okay, let's look at the leg press. So as you can see, I've been pushing quite a bit here. And in part, the progress with the weights here from 154 pounds to 176 pounds to 189 pounds to 220 pounds, that's a lot. However, before this current workout routine, I did squats, and I weigh over 350 pounds. I'll get to the weigh-in later. So 220 pounds is still way less than that. However, a squat and a leg press isn't exactly the same, and I'm able to do a better range of motion in the leg press. So that's why I took down the weights quite a bit as compared to how much I weigh when I started this, and why I've probably been able to push it up quite a bit more while doing the exercise. But I am still really proud of being able to progress as much as I've done in this exercise. The row is the exercise I've struggled with the most. Since I switched routines, I've tried a few different things. The first time I did it, you could barely see it in this picture, but it says barbell. I was using a barbell. And that didn't work for me because my stomach got in the way and I couldn't get that full range of motion. So then I tried using a bench where I put my knee on the bench and I leaned forward on one of my arms while doing the row with the other arm. And that worked somewhat, but I did that a couple of times and realized this is not working for me because putting that weight on one arm, the same arm as I had my knee on the bench, that arm started shaking. Like the weight of just putting my own upper body onto my arm to balance myself while doing the one-armed row with a dumbbell is not working for me. So I had to find another way. And then I ended up doing this exercise, which is, again, using a bench. However, instead of leaning on it, I sit on it, lean forward, and using my elbow to stable myself against the back of the bench, but sitting forward. And this turned out pretty well. But you can also see it in the numbers here that I haven't really increased a lot. I haven't progressed. And that's because I needed to get into the motion and learn the exercise, which I struggled with a lot. I have progressed a little bit from 15 pounds to 17 pounds at the very end here of week 11, which feels good. And that's when I really felt that I got into it. I didn't hear any noises from any joints. So it felt like my body had learned this exercise, and so I could push myself a little bit further. Lat pull downs. Here, progression, it feels so good. I'm really proud. 77 pounds to 88 to 99 to 110. And then I got stuck at 110. And that was interesting because I felt so good when I did the first time, 110 pounds. But then I remember the second time, and this is week 10, mind you, I did them, and at the middle of the first set, I was like, how did I do this last time? So apparently I was on a high on the first workout of week 10 when I pushed myself, and it felt so good. Because the second workout of week 10, I was not feeling good. I did push through, but that's when you take the time to continue at the same sets and rep range and weights to build those muscles so that it doesn't feel way too much, that it feels good doing the exercise, which is what I did. I will continue and hopefully be able to push a little bit further this week or going forward. The inclined bench press, I've also been able to progress. I started at 44 pounds, which is the weight of just the barbell with no extra added weight. And that's actually a bit lower than I did my regular bench press. So I lowered the weight a little bit when changing up the exercise, now that I do inclined bench press. And then I pushed it up in week 10 to 55 pounds. And then going up to 60 pounds by the end of week 10, and then in week 11, pushing up the reps instead. So I am progressing. Feels good. It was a bit different, this exercise, than the regular one with the inclination. It didn't quite feel right at the beginning. So giving myself a little bit of time to get used to it is probably a good thing. Lastly, the shoulder press. Now here I am really proud of the progress over the last couple weeks. As you can see, the first week I did 13 pounds per arm doing shoulder press. And then I did 15 pounds. And this last week I pushed myself to do 17 and then 20. That push came when I realized during week 10 a mini goal that I set for myself. You can see on these pictures that the dumbbells I normally use are on this smaller rack, and they look smaller and they go up to 22 pounds. So I realized this in week 10 that I'm at 15. If I could push myself to 22, then I can switch to the big boy dumbbells, or I should say the woman dumbbells. And so I set myself that as a little goal. That's what I want to do with this workout routine, which gives me one more week now to get to 22 pounds. Because I think the lowest weight of the grown-up dumbbells is 22 pounds. So it's the same, the biggest one and the smaller one. That's just fun, right? You find little goals in life and in the gym, and that's what I wanted to do. And so that's an inspiration to push myself forward and work harder. As for the last workout session here, you can see it just says treadmill. And that's because I did 4 sessions last week. Now that's something I've been struggling with a bit, because some days I wake up and I really want to go to the gym, but I went the day before. And my routine is to do 3 full body workouts a week. And I need the rest in between to let my muscles rest, recuperate, and build. That's part of it, and I can't just ignore that. So I need to think it through, and so far I've not allowed myself to do more than 3 workout sessions with strength building exercises. But I also realized that I can do other exercises that still allow my muscles to recuperate, such as cardio. So I did go and do a workout session on Sunday. It was just on the treadmill, just walking and doing cardio for 30 minutes. And that's fine. And it actually felt pretty good. I want to do that, and I want to do other things like flexibility, mobility exercises. But they scare me a little bit because in my mind, they're all done on the floor. And as a big girly, so we'll see. I'll have to do some research to find exercises. And I'm thinking more about dynamic stretching than static stretching. As for my weekly weigh-in, as of yesterday, I'm at 372 pounds, which is up 1.4 pounds since last week. And I'm not worried about it because my scale tells me the difference between gaining fat and muscle in my body. And according to my scale, I'm up half of that, so 0.7 pounds is muscle. Now, I don't believe you can gain that in a week, but it's an indication that I am building muscle. And so I'm not that worried about it. I did eat some food this weekend, that chocolate and stuff that actually, retains a lot of liquid as well. So up and down a few pounds. I'm not that worried. I can see progress in the strength that I'm building. And as long as I'm also building muscles, then I am increasing my metabolism, which means I will lose more weight eating the same as I've done before. Not great, gaining a little bit, but also not terrible. And hopefully this week will have a different result. Going into this week, week 12, it's going to be my last week of the current workout routine. My goals for the workout is to continue progressing. It'll be great to reach 220 on the shoulder press so that I can go to the woman dumbbells, as I talked about before. I also want to do at least one cardio session. That would be great. As for my other goals, I need to work out a new workout routine for next week. Think about what exercises I want to switch out or what variations I want to do. I also set a goal as for eating to eat vitamins every day, which I've been slacking a little bit lately. And I know that it's really good for me. So I want to get on top of that. And next week is actually Easter week, which is a huge candy week where I live. And so I want to be able to do that, live my life, still have fun, which means this week I thought, maybe I'll just be a little cleaner in my eating, eat a bit healthier so that I can gorge a little bit next week and not feel terrible about it. So, yeah, living my life, trying to make it work and still progressing to reach my goals. Thanks for checking in with me. If I can do this, you can too, and I'll see you at the gym.